congratulations on all the success and everything. I mean, the album obviously is through the roof everywhere. So, but I have to start with, I mean, I'm sure you've been asked this before, with all the success you've experienced in Europe with the Man Who is it surprising that America has been so slow going and catching on?
It's been slow everywhere. It's been slow, like in Britain, or even from Britain. It's been slow even in Scotland. You know, we've been like, I don't think of like albums. We always look at it as a long sort of a thing, and not like split it up into albums. Now, it took until the Man Who for it to blow up in Britain, and I think it's going to take 2 or 3 records for it to blow up in America, because it's a lot bigger. We've just been going on, and it's not been surprising at all. Like the radio stations over here, just like the radio stations in the UK, don't play songs. There's a lot. There's a specific type of songs that we do that they don't play, and it took so long in Britain, in our own country, and then one guy sort of gave way and said, right, okay, we're going to play this, and it was always the case where we were always saying, oh, just give us a chance, play it on the radio, people will like it because it's fair music, it's not offensive.
I think by the nature of the size of America, it's going to take a bit longer.
Right.
It's like trying to sort of play to 20 Britons, Yeah. So it just takes longer. It takes longer to tour, and I think sort of touring's important because people want to see you, and it sort of, sometimes it clicks when they see you live and things. So you just got to sort of come back and play as much as possible.
Is it frustrating at all to that slow climb? I mean, the only reason I ask is because obviously in Europe, you guys are playing in front of stadiums of people, and here
we've kept it small actually. We try not to.
More of like
that stuff's been good, but on our own tours we try not to go with the 4,000 or 5,000 mark. We want to keep it intimate and keep it intimate for everywhere around the world. Because if you go to such a big stage and then come back and play new places, and you're going back to small clubs and then you're massive back home playing stadiums, it's like a big divide in the middle. You want to keep everyone up to date with what's going on and keep everyone there right from the beginning.
I mean, there comes a point where I think any band has to inevitably fold to that sort of stadium sort of attitude, but like sort of playing those places. But they're not as much fun for the band or for the people there.
Yeah.
And we're about to play our biggest show ever tomorrow in Los Angeles.
Is that right?
Yeah.
The Universal Amphitheatre.
4,000. That's the biggest we've ever done.
Wow.
And that's and it wasn't even. I remember last year sitting with Ian and manager saying, "No man, don't do the big shows because everyone does that." It's like, I think there's a lot of bands that go or manage because it's all business. They're like, right, we've got a really successful record. We've got to strike while the iron's hot and just get the money rolling in, kind of thing. But I do believe that we've got a long career ahead of us, and I think there'll be plenty of time to make that. And it's much better to take your time,
Right.
And enjoy the journey and just keep on sort of putting out records and let it build, because it could go, but you can hold on to the reins and just control it all and make it all happen. Just
keep it at a slow canter rather than galloping.
It's important to keep it exciting for yourself as well, and playing those size of places is exciting. If you're playing stadiums every night, you will start getting sort of, I can't see people.
It's just like
can't see people's faces.
Of facelessness.
Although Glastonbury was good though.
There's an energy that comes off that many people.
Are there pitfalls to success, to the kind of success that you had?
I don't think with us that we've let anything, get in the way. We've kept everything really, and just because we've been mates for 10 years, you could have whatever kind of success was, and I don't think it will ever really change as much. We strive to keep things the way they always were,
I think what I've noticed with me personally on this 18-month slog that we've done, personally speaking, from a singer's point of view, is that I miss the sort of, hey, let's have a drink, let's, that kind of thing. I'm not a big drinker or anything, but I really, really miss it. And you got to be really, really boring and not yourself, and you kind of, when you're on the road for that long as well, when you're uprooted and you're not at home and you miss your girlfriends and you miss your friends and family and your bed and stuff like that, it does stuff to your brain as well. And I can see why a lot of bands don't want to do that, do the big thing.
It's a big sacrifice, a lot of it is fantastic and everything, but you do ultimately have to give up a part of whatever it is that you think you hold treasurable to yourself and get on with it, you know. It's got to focus on it, and like Fran's saying, you become a bit boring some nights. You have to say, well, I'm not going out tonight. I've been out every night this week, I'm going to stay in.
It's weird, it's like an addiction, because remember like, the first time I ever auditioned for the band, I remember as soon as I sung into the mic, that was it. I was like, I want to be in this forever. This is like, and it's an addiction. And as soon as you get on a stage, it's this thing. And like with any addiction, there are good points to it. You know, you get a buzz, but there's bad points to it as well. And
hangover.
Sometimes the bad outweighs the good, and sometimes, you know, when you're in the element, it's like whoa. But there's all these sides that you don't think of when you're getting into it, that we're all beginning to find out on this, you know, the tour that we've just done.
What have you guys learned from each other in all this? Have you learned anything from
Chess.
Fran or from
Temperance.
Temperance?
Yes.
I think you always learn from everyone that's around you. You know, your friends, your band, you know, everyone, your family. And I think that when you stop learning and then you give up, you sort of sit in your bed for the rest of your life, you know. And we're constantly learning from each other.
Yeah, it's like any relationship. You almost become, you take on little bits of one another,
Right.
and that's how you survive. You know, it's like a little gang. It's like the last gang in town. You're a band, like a band of thieves or a band of criminals. Or
And you know, any person is, you know, complex. Like we've known each other 10 years, and we can still sort of surprise each other, you know, occasionally. Usually it's the same old jokes and the same old lines, but occasionally.
Occasionally.
I want to ask you a little bit about the actual record. That it's been called a very melancholy collection of songs. I've read, and how to say, from listening to it, it's you know, it has its sad moments. Do you agree with that? Is it a melancholy collection?
Gregory from Remy Zero said, this is a drummer from Remy Zero was saying to me the other day, it's one of the best compliments I've ever been given, that it's like Cole Porter. It's like music to get people through the, it sounds like, you know, the way he wrote was to get people through, you know, depressions and wars and all that kind of stuff. It just sort of there is an element of melancholia in there, but there's a sort of
Uplifting.
There's a you know, get the spirits up, you know, it's that kind of thing as well. And I never thought about that, you know, and in this age of like all digital sounds and all this kind of stuff, there's a human element to, I think, what the songs that we do that is quite rare, you know, and it's not of this time particularly, because we live in a time of, you know, mass, you know, homogenization and mass of junk food, junk mail, junk TV, junk radio. It's just like capitalists and all that in all these ways, and you know, we're not in any wars and we're not going through any depression, so it seems to be quite different from you know. But that was an amazing compliment that was given, and I sort of agree in a way, because I see what you meant, you know. There's just like little songs to make you go, that's fine, nothing else, you know. Just like dance music makes you tap your feet, nothing else. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, I think it just helps you accept things. Sometimes music, you know, far too many people are unwilling to accept sadness. You know, they'll push as far as they can to get away from it. And at the end of the day, if you just accept it, you'll get through it a lot easier. It's a sort of valid emotion, you know. Just as happens. Just
as equal as some people are that the same with not accepting sadness. They're not accepting happiness either, you know. They're like, they don't want to, you know, kind of be vulnerable. Because I think when you go through any of those emotions, and you expose your soft underbelly, you know, and that's vulnerability. And you don't want to be vulnerable, because in this day and age, someone's going to pop you.
That seems like a very cynical point of view.
Well, that's the day. I mean, that's just look at the TV, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I turn on.
I mean, because we live in London as well, and there's no. I think that's a prime example of people who walk around and build that sort of modern armour around themselves, just so that they don't get affected by anyone else. You know.
Do those particular songs offer an insight into the type of people that you are, the person that you are, Fran, since you wrote most of the lyrics? I mean, a lot of fans walk away from listening to an album and they think like, well, I know how these people, I know these men now.
Well, I think for me personally, in Franny's songs and the way we play as musicians, it's definitely coming through you. It's not coming from you. You don't consciously play or express yourself that way. and the freedom of expression that comes through each song and each part of music everyone's playing is definitely, I think, part of what you are as a person. It's the way you express yourself, whether it be anger or, you know, that melancholy, whatever, and whatever instrument, it all complements each other as well, and it creates probably not a perfect description, but a picture of the four of us in that environment, and as we are as people, probably day to day as well.
There's an everyman element to it as well, where when the songs are being written, you're aware that you can't be specific. When you're writing something, you know that it's. I mean, I'm kind of a basic, normal person, and I kind of I think like 99% of the people who, because I've always, and I'm not kind of high art or anything, you know, I'm kind of more mass and more like, let's, you know, buy a Twix and let's drink Coca-Cola and let's go to McDonald's. I'm just like everyone else, you know. That's a nice song, and that's it, you know. I don't go, you know, go to the Tate Gallery and have an epiphany and then go and listen to Mozart. I'm just quite basic. So I think there is an element of the songs, like Why Does It Always Rain on Me? It's like, people say that it has an appeal because everyone says that now and again. They're like, I mean, like today we woke up and it's like,
yeah, we did that, it's our fault.
I know.
We
brought it with us.
You guys brought the rain again.
I was looking at someone gave me this book about Bob Dylan, and it's got all of his lyrics in it, and he wrote a lot more like stories and was a lot more kept himself out of it, as opposed to say someone like Joni Mitchell, who was over the top or almost, but in a great way. You know, she's a fantastic writer, in a sort of a confessional way. You know, she was like, it's so confessional that it almost makes you feel uneasy if the melody wasn't so beautiful. Like her albums like Hejira and Blue and stuff. Bob Dylan's Idiot Wind, I was reading it last night, and his first line is, "Someone's got it in for me, they're planting stories in the press." And it's this really paranoid song that only someone in Bob Dylan's position, as far as being a big star, would affect. We would go, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about there. You know, that song Blood on the Tracks. And I can just about understand it because we're in this mad sort of circus
whirlwind
now. And
But would you write music like that, or are you more inclined to
It
write
inspires me.
songs? It inspires you.
It inspires me, but it would inspire me just as much as someone telling me a great joke would inspire me, you know, or you seeing a good film or something.
Or seeing something outside day to day that made you smile.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Is the music cathartic for you guys? Is it? So do you
All
you
music
feel-
is cathartic. I think any form of like letting, you know, like putting out, doing exercise is cathartic. You know, anything that involves movement of any kind, whether it be your mouth, your Adam's apple, whatever, gets energy out where it would be suppressed or, you know, kept inside. You know.
The Man Who, you guys spent 6 months in a number of different locations.
6 weeks over 6 months.
6 weeks.
Yeah, we
over 6
had to keep
months.
grabbing Nigel, the producer, because he was so busy.
Right. How beneficial was it to have
Extra time.
that much time as opposed to, I think, 4 days when you guys recorded Good Feeling?
It's nice. I mean, it's nice to be able to sort of relax when you're doing an album and like sort of go away from a track and sort of sort of sit and listen to it leave it for a couple of days and then sit and listen to it and go like that and like listen to it as a listener rather than someone who's just played it. Because you're buzzed up when you're in the studio when you've just played something, you know, and it's nice to have that sort of freedom and the space away from it.
Right.
So it was good.
And the difference with The Man Who in the first record is that, you know, like, that was our first studio album, and when you make any first album, you've only played together for maybe 60 or 70 gigs. And then you do The Man Who, like, you do your second album, and hopefully you've done the sensible thing and gone on the road and played. We played about 200 shows, hadn't we?
Yeah.
And it's amazing how better, or when I say better, it's like this less is more thing.
Yeah.
It's like driving a car, and when you first drive the car, you sort of, I don't know, you're grinding it, and then eventually you just sort of drive it, and you're not even thinking it's that way.
So when you get to know people and you can be sort of silent in a room with your true friends, you know, you can be silent in a room. It's the same with musicians. The more you get to know each other, the more you can shut up.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Yeah. we went to see Neil Young playing in Red Rocks, and it was like he had Jim Keltner on drums and Spooner Oldham on piano, and Neil Young, and there was these guys who had played on some of the most classic records that have ever been made, and they've been playing for like what?
50 years
50
probably
years
each.
they've been playing for these guys, and they're like Jedi Knights, they're like Zen masters. The drummer was just, it was amazing to watch, and that's what happens if you play for a long time or do anything for a long time. You get better at it, but more effortless, you know. It's
And you
like,
can see that happening as you guys go along. Just
it's
closer,
weird.
Closer and you can you tell if other improvised moments on stage with your song?
I think there's definitely in between songs or between parts of songs, you can definitely feel a warmth on the stage, and it's energy or whatever. It's, again, this isn't rocket science because it's there. That's what makes stuff good on tape. You know, it's not just physical, it's what's in the air. That's what's also going down. And live too, you get little breaks in songs where people are doing something a bit different. You know, it's the same part, but it's just something extra special.
And I think
you
the way we do it, like they like to give people what's in the album, you know.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe that sort of 10-minute jam in the middle of your favourite song really helps. It's sort of, you know, but that's just the way I sort of see it. But I mean, it does change. There's no two shows are the same.
Yeah. I've heard you talk about writing your latest single. I'm not sure if it's out here in the States yet, but Coming Around. And how that particular song was inspired by a moment that was more visceral than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Does that happen often with your writing? That where a simple image can inspire
What does
an entire
visceral
song?
mean?
Something like a moment that you saw.
I
think you
saw.
mentioned. I heard an interview where you mentioned that it was you were in a crowded
In the street. Yeah.
and there were all these people walking by you, and that moment inspired.
Well, the moment.
Telling you how.
Yeah, I know, but I think the where the song came from is just like you sit. Well, the thing is with all songs, you sit in a room, you write it, and then you make up the excuse after you've done it. You know, it's like you fart and you're like, shh, you know, like yeah, you make the excuse after you've done it. You don't you don't make the excuse before. It just happens. New songs, anything that's creative, is always accidental, and you can say, you know, like having a child, for instance, like Neil's had a kid, and you know,
I don't have any excuses.
You know, you, these things happen, and they're beautiful, magic things, and they don't happen again. And but in this business, you're asked, what's it about, and you've got to sort of, you can't just go, I don't know. You know, you've got to hazard a guess at it. It might not be the right thing. You look at some of songwriters, like Bob Dylan even. He never says what they say, he just tells people to shut up. Maybe I should do that, because I mean, it takes me years to find out what the songs are about. My songs mean more to probably other people than they do to me. That's what I've found. People coming up and going, oh man, this blah blah blah, and I'm like,
They've probably got
nice
the answers.
Yeah.
It sounds like they wrote it.
Yeah.
But that's maybe the idea, you know, that's maybe, it has to come through somewhere. And
That must be gratifying, though, to affect someone that. No?
Yeah, it's not no, it doesn't. I must admit, it doesn't, because that's just what should happen. You know, you hit the ball moves. You know, you don't go, wow, whoa, look at that. You know, that's amazing. It moved. You know, maybe the first time you go, wow, it does. But that's what it's supposed to happen, you know.
Right.
But it's supposed to touch people, and the music's supposed to make people feel something. And when people come up and go, tell you a story about how this song. A girl came up to us the other day, and she's going, "I lost my virginity to one of your songs," and I was thinking, man, that is the coolest thing, because she'll never forget it. And it's like, I don't know, you know. I'm sure like. There's like Madonna, like a virgin or whatever, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
She wasn't, well, she didn't write that song. Two guys from LA wrote that song, but I think it's that thing when you're making anything, it probably means less to the writer than it does to the person eventually.
Is writing music ever hard work?
Yeah.
It is.
Just hard because you have to go through the most humiliating process ever, you know. You've got to write hundreds of crap songs, and you really, by the end of it, you're like, I can't write, I'm rubbish, I can't do it, I can't do this. And then eventually you do it and you're like, oh. And that's the thing, you hang on to that one song for like ages. You're just like, oh, this is great, I'll never write anything like it again, because you're frightened to go into that black hole. Well, I do anyway.
How do you get past it?
You just
Keep doing it.
you do it. You set up. You put yourself in a trap
Mhm.
where you set up the thing where like there are people now who want songs, so you feel that you've got to do it, you know. Because I wouldn't do it otherwise. You know, I'd just sit in my room.
So the new album, the next album, I guess, is you guys are planning to record it in Los Angeles.
Yeah, in a few days.
Yeah, we'll
What's
start it. 3 weeks
You've
out.
already started.
No, we'll start at the end of this tour for
Oh.
3 weeks. Yeah.
Why Los Angeles?
Sunshine.
Sunshine.
Change
There's
of
a
scene.
There's a nice studio there, you know.
And it's the end of the tour, and we're having played. I just like the idea of going into the studio right after a big long tour, because I mean we're playing.
It's
we'll
definitely
play
yeah.
it different.
It's definitely beneficial. As Fran is saying, we know this tour's been one of the best we've done, and we know we've progressed massively. So you may as well just going straight in and getting on with it, you know.
Do you think the city will affect
Nah,
the
I
recording
don't
of the album?
you
at
never
all?
really see a city when you're recording an album.
You don't see anything. when you
There are
do it.
distractions in any city, but I think we're all focused enough with this record to just get in and get on with it and enjoy it, and we'll have good times as well. But you know, as Andy's saying, you know, you're kind of going to be in there from 12 till like 3 in the morning anyway, and then you just go to bed. So
Right.
It's like it's like the studio's one of these places. No matter where you go, it looks the same. It's like last night we went to a nightclub, you know, just for a drink, and you walk in, you could be anywhere, you know. And the studio's the same sort of thing. You know, it doesn't matter where it is. As soon as you walk in there, it's who's in it that makes the environment. You know.
And I think there's also still a thing with us where you think there's in the back of your head you're going, this is costing a lot of money
Oh, yeah.
a day, and you've got to make the most of your time there and that thing. Like we did an album with a friend there in Rack Studios in London. I produced and the guys played on it, and it's great. But we did it in 10 days, and it was like it made me. I just jogged my memory in that thing, because when you've got record companies paying all that stuff, like we did
You
it
never see it,
ourselves.
yeah.
You know, it was all like we kind of did it, paid for it, all that stuff. But the pressure's there, and you're like, oh my god, you know, you've got to finish it, you know, or else, you know. But when record companies are paying for it,
it's
you
almost
forget.
they
Well,
want
it's
you to
invisible
stay
money.
in
You
there.
never see how much you pay for it. You know, you never see it.
And you're paying for it anyway, so I mean, that's the trick.
This time around, you guys are having Nigel Goodrich produce the entire record. I know he did parts of The Man Who, correct?
The majority of it.
Majority of
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
What do you think he brings to a recording that otherwise wouldn't be there?
His ears and his personality, and the fact that we've got to know him as a friend now
Mhm.
over the last 2 or 3 years, and he's one of the best in the business at the moment. You know, he's probably top of his game, and
I
that's
think
good.
the thing with Nigel, above, like, you know, he makes records sound great, and above all that, the first point of contact when you go in and record a song, when you're playing together, and you go into the sound booth and listen to it, he makes it sound like it sounds in the room to you.
Sometimes he makes it sound a lot better.
Yeah, exactly. Well, then he starts working on it, making it even better, you know.
We come out. I remember when we did Driftwood, we came out of the room and it was okay, you know. It sounded all right. We were all kind of like, fair enough. He played it on the thing, and it just was like, wow, that's great. Is that us? You know, is that us? So I don't know.
Yeah, so at first base, before it's even been mixed or you've added any overdubs to it, he's wonderful at capturing that moment.
Right.
Just check his track record. He's just a brilliant engineer. You know, you go up to Nigel and he's playing about with the knobs and some effect thing from 1960 or something, or something really modern as well. He's got no, he doesn't see, like, he's got no, what's the word?
He's got no sort of preference for any particular one piece of equipment. He just has a thing that gets the right piece. It could be, as Fran's saying, a tape machine from 1960 or a brand new
Pro
Super
Tools or something,
XT 5000 box from the year 2000, and he'll just do the magic. You know, it's got no particular.
Yeah, so often you find people are so caught up in being an old school, are so caught up in using the technology that they waste so much time.
So he has no limitations.
You just have
essentially.
For
everything.
example, the beginning of The Man Who, there's the song Writing to Reach You. It starts with this strange, like, wah 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 noise, and that came about because in Rack Studios they've got an old Neve desk which is constantly breaking. You've got to hit the panel to get the faders to work, and this thing was annoying him, and eventually to get it working he did this with it, and it made that sound, and we were all like, wow, that sounds great. And he's like, right, cool, 'cause he's very off the wall kind of as a producer, but a lovely guy as well, you know.
That's amazing. About a month ago, you guys shot a new video for Turn.
Mhm.
for the release of it here in
Yeah.
America.
Mhm.
But a video already existed that
Yeah.
you guys that has been played mostly in
Yeah.
Europe and in Great Britain. Why did you feel the need to make
Well,
another video?
You didn't. Epic did.
We didn't, you know, the simple fact is in America, radio and video play work differently, and you have to
Totally.
create the right product for the right market, you know, and that's just a fact of life.
It'd be easy to stick your heels in and go, no, we made a video, you know, but they asked, we said okay, you know.
Yeah.
Was it different making a video that was going to be
More
made for
performance
America
based.
as opposed to what?
Yeah, well, it was more performance-based for a start, and if you've seen the rest of our videos, there's a sort of odd narrative going on, and an odd camera shot here and there, and that's great for us, and we like that, it's a good piece of art. But an American pop video generally is, you know, very singular.
Meat and potatoes.
It serves its
Right.
purpose.
Nobody wants to
Here's
see
the
you tied up
singer,
in a trunk
here's
in
the.
America.
I know, exactly, which is bizarre because I like seeing stuff like that.
That to me actually is one of the better videos I've ever seen.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's like a short movie. It's an
Yeah.
interesting
Yeah.
thing, and you're wondering what the hell's going on. Why is he in there? And
Well, you know, you've got your what's the name of the is it TLN or what's it called, the MTV show?
TRL.
TRL.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing, you know. That's what they want MTV to play the video. They don't want to handicap the band
Yeah.
because MTV would like to play videos, but they feel as though when they play a Travis video, 10 million people go,
What's
I
that
don't
about?
understand this.
They want girls in bikinis, they want hot tubs.
They want it to be really simple, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. And I think I quite enjoyed. I didn't. Well, the video was difficult to do. It was
It's,
a long.
yeah, it's more
process.
experience in it, you know, and you can't buy that, you just got to get in there and do it.
Fran, I've heard you do a pretty good American accent.
Yeah.
Can you do a little bit? Just
Yeah.
How's that go?
Well, I don't know. I can't do it. I can't do it on the spot. I've got to think of something to say.
Maybe tonight at the show you can
Yeah.
spit out a little
Yeah.
American for the kids.
Yeah. Okay.
Very good. Are you guys living the rock and roll dream?
No.
What's that?
No?
Well, what is that?
Is that the rocket car in the gold house?
Yeah.
No.
No,
girls
not
in hot
particularly.
tubs.
No,
No?
definitely not that.
No.
I've seen enough of that here.
No. Yeah. No. It's you've got a job to do. I mean,
Right.
you can do it that, but then when you're doing that, you're not doing what you should be doing. You know what I mean?
Most of the people that are fulfilling the rock and roll dream are doing it for the wrong reason anyway. They're in a band to sort of fulfil some sort of
And they're
vanity
rubbish.
or something.
You know what I mean?
You know, I mean, we're not in a band for any sort of vanity reasons or for any sort of ego reasons. We like doing what we do. We seem to be quite good at it. You
And
know?
we realise that we're very lucky because we're actually doing it. So
Yeah.
we want to do that. I mean, I've never had any fantasies about getting in a hot tub with 5
Yeah.
women. I just haven't. I don't think. I mean, maybe some people have.
Oh, I think I have.
Yeah. But then again, it's never been then connected with the band in any way. And you're like, I have actually. But I think it's bands do 3 things: they write, they record, they play live. If you're doing anything other than that, then you're wasting your
Yeah,
time.
you're
you know.
going down the wrong road.
Have fun, you know. Do that on your 2 days off.
Yeah.
But don't do it while you should be doing what you should be doing.
You've got an obligation to what you're doing, the music. And as soon as you start putting that on the shelf and turning around, then someone's going to take it or it's going to fall off.
That's what I
you know?
said to you earlier about you got to make a sacrifice and you got to be committed and you got to be boring sometimes and not do whatever people would, expect you to be doing as the rock and roll thing. Because at the end of the day, you're going up and performing and sharing with everyone what you got to do, and you can't lose that. It's important.